Welcome everyone to the Parent, Student, and Guardian Town Hall meeting. My name is Ashley J. Sutton, and I am the Director of College Relations. The date is July 31st, 2020. We are a couple of days away from welcoming students to the fall 2020 academic year here on the campus of Miles College. We understand that we are living in unprecedented times. And with that, we understand that communication is very fluid and change often. We wanted to take this moment to welcome parents, students, and guardians for the opportunity to ask questions to gain more clarity. With that, I want to welcome our president, Bobby Knight, 15th president of Miles College, to give a welcome and remarks.
Thank you, Ashley. Good afternoon, everybody. And I am so looking forward to seeing all of you next week. It has been a really tough summer for all of us, and actually spring and summer, I should say, but we are really looking forward to it. We labored long and hard about whether bringing students back was the right thing to do or reopening the campus. But we feel like we can do it safely. We have all kinds of measures in place that I think will make you feel better and absolutely makes us feel better. The faculty and staff and students will all be required to make a lot of changes in the way they operate and the way they attend classes or teach classes. But it's important that the instructions we give and the things we ask you to do, that they're done exactly the way we ask you, because that means all of us will be safer and we can make it through this together. So you're going to hear a lot of good information this afternoon, and I'll hang on with you for a while. If you have questions, make sure you put them in the chat or ask them. I don't know exactly how this is going to work, but we have some really talented people here at Miles College who will help you in every way they can. You, your parents, your friends, whatever you need, these folks can help you with it. So we just really want to see you next week. And thank you so much for choosing Miles College for your education.
Thank you so much, President Knight. And yes, just like she said, please drop your questions in the chat box. We will be answering your questions live. We also will be on live later on at 6 p.m. You can also add us on Twitter at Miles College, and we will be answering your questions live as we go along. Following, we have an all-star lineup. Each of these individuals I love. They are here to answer your questions. Please invite your family, your friends to get on live with us. I know several of the students have chat boxes, so please send this link out to your friends and let them know that we are answering all questions and clarifying anything that they need today. So I want to introduce our panelists. First, we have Mr. Johnson, who is the Vice President of Student Success, who is with us today. Next, we have Provost Dr. A.G. She's also the Vice President and Senior Academics, correct? Mm-hmm. We also have Mr. Charles Stallworth, who is our Dean of Students. Welcome, panelists.
Great to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. So we are just going to get started with these questions that we have that's coming in. And the first question is, Dr. A.G., actually for you, how are classes going to work this semester?
Well, that's a great question. And like the president said, we looked at all of the options that were available to us when we considered how we were going to come back to school. And believe it or not, the success of our virtual campus, when we had to leave unceremoniously in March of this year and go to strictly online, we were able to do that successfully and work with our students and faculty. So we knew that we had the bandwidth to be able to do that again and provide a virtual experience for all of our students. But the president and her cabinet and our faculty members heard from so many students that wanted to come back to campus, that wanted to be part of the campus environment, the campus experience. And frankly, some students that needed to come back, that found Miles College should be their safe haven. We wanted to be able to open our doors safely to students. And so therefore, we're offering the options for students to take their regular classes in a virtual format, So if a student wants to stay home and take their instruction from their home, from the safety of their laptop, they can take all of their classes that way this semester. Students also can come on campus. They can live in the dorms, or they can come to campus as they would if they were traditional on-ground students, and they'll be able to take their classes in a hybrid format. And what does that mean? It means if you have a Monday and Wednesday class, your Monday class may be in person in front of your teacher in a very small class size, using social distancing and making sure that the class is safe and a great learning environment. And then your Wednesday class will be virtually online, where you will be able to see your professor and get your lecture and see the exact same information as you would have seen in person. Then we also have an 100% online program, which is a separate program from our traditional classroom offerings that we just got accredited to do a fully online program, which is our business administration program. And so students have several options, and all of those options are safe and allow them the best opportunity to have an amazing semester.
Thank you so much, Dr. Agee. That was one of our top questions. We are going to get back to you. The next question we have is from Charles. It's for Dean Stallworth. I'm sorry. Dean Stallworth, can one parent assist a freshman with move-in, and if they have a negative COVID-19 test done with the past 7 days? So I think that question is twofold. So let's start off with, can a parent assist a freshman with move-in?
Thank you, Ashley, for that question. In reference to our social distancing parameters, parents and or guardians will be allowed to assist their students with moving their information, moving their items and belongings only up to the front of the dormitory and to the lobby. At that point, the student will then be allowed to continue to move into their residence hall. With that, we do have the crates or bins that the students will be able to access. If they are moving into our 3 of our newer dorms, they will have the elevators. We will also have student leaders here to assist, especially our young ladies that will be moving in with any heavy items. But for the permittance of social distancing, parents and or guardians will be allowed to bring their belongings only up to the front of the residence hall or to the lobby area.
Thank you so much, Dean Stallworth. And we will be asking, I'm going to wait towards the end of the broadcast or later towards the end to talk about our testing options and what that will look like for the fall. So since we are with you, Dean Stallworth, let's talk about student activities. What does, organizations such as Greek and fraternities, will they be able to be highly active on campus this fall with recruitment of student acts?
Okay, in reference to that, student activities, most of our activities are going to be, of course, outside. We're making sure that there's going to be plenty of seating for our students to participate. Of course, always having the social distancing and parameters and making sure that we're abiding by those parameters. Specifically to Greeks, because of course, I am a fellow Greek myself, we need to make sure that if there are to be any yard presentations, strolling will have to be to a minimum. In other words, because that distancing usually with strolling, you're side by side. So steps that are farther apart are more than welcome. The introduction of intramural sports, utilizing our football field for all sorts of activities, any inside room that most students have been used to, the capacity has been reduced down by 75%. So in case in point, Brown Hall, for instance, which used to sit about 377, will now only sit 90. So that doesn't eliminate activities. It just limits the capacity of the ability of those activities.
Thank you so much, Dean Stallworth. Mr. Johnson, Vice President of Student Success, there's a lot of students asking about next week registration and orientation. Can you give us a overview of, Monday through Thursday, move-in dates and times? Can you give us an overview of that?
Sure. Thank you, Ashley. First, let me say that we're extremely excited to welcome all of you. As you, for some of you are coming back to campus, and others are venturing to Miles College for the first time. And so we've set up our orientation and registration process in a way that ensures that your safety and your health and your well-being, but also ensures that our community is safe at the same time. And so I'll start off here. Most of you have some of you have received your financial clearance documents. And so what that means is that when you show up next week for orientation, you don't have to wait in the lines. You don't have to talk to anyone. You can report directly to the President's Dining Hall in the George T. French Student Activity Center to pick up your key if you're staying on campus, and if you are not, to update your student ID. And so we've made it easier for you this year to make sure that the process is easier, and we've done a really good job. The team has done a really good job of ensuring that you have all the information that you need prior to your arrival. Now I'm going to talk specifically to the class of 2024, who is venturing to Miles College next week for the first time. Many of you have been calling, and we've been working with you all year, and so we're really excited to welcome you to campus and welcome you to the Golden Bear family. But you have been assigned a move-in registration date based on your last name, and so make sure that you've looked at that correspondence and you understand the day in which you're coming in. We're asking students to come between 9 and 1 o'clock. That does not mean that you can't come before 1 o'clock, that you will not be allowed to finish the process after that. However, if you need special accommodations to come after 1 o'clock, please feel free to do that. For students that have not finished the process, we're asking them to come after 1 o'clock. Again, this is a very fluid process, and we're going to make sure that we accommodate all students as they come in. But that's going to be the same flow for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. If you have any further questions about that process, please contact your admissions recruiter, and they'll be able to guide you through that process. For continuing students, we're excited that you're coming back to Miles College, and we're excited to engage you both on the student affairs side and academically in the classroom. And Dr. A.G. and Dean Stallworth will talk about those items as we move forward. But your scheduled date is this August 6th or 4th. It's the 4th or 5th, I'm sorry, Thursday. So your move-in day is on Thursday. So feel free to come back. And again, you've also received your financial clearance documents, which means that if you've received your financial clearance document and you're staying on campus, upon arrival, please report directly to the George T. French Center, and you'll be redirected to the President's Dining Hall to pick up your key. If you haven't, and we have some outstanding items to take care of, you'll be redirected upon your arrival to campus, so we can work through some of those outstanding items. New student orientation this year, for the first time, will be entirely online, and we are very, very excited about that. We've established watch parties throughout campus in collaboration with student affairs and academic affairs to orient you properly to the campus. And so you'll get more information about that once you arrive next week. But we're excited about that, and please know that we're committed to your health and safety throughout this process for all of our students in our entire community. And we're happy to engage with you right now. And after this call, if you have any other questions, feel free to shoot those our way, and we'll be happy to help.
Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. Dr. A.G., we are back to you. How would hybrid classes work for larger science class labs, for larger lab classes for students?
That's a great question. If we're thinking about science labs, we're so excited. I was excited that our chair of natural sciences and mathematics, Dr. Woods, brought forward a proposal to the president that was accepted for us to purchase the state-of-the-art program called Labster. And Labster allows us to have so many simulated lab experiences that we would have to create new buildings to be able to do all of these simulated lab experiences that our science students are going to be able to take advantage of. And more than that, it also has simulations for our forensics and our criminal justice students as well. So our students are going to actually have the best of the best that's out there in terms of lab experiences, whether they're in person or online.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. A.G. So Dean Stallworth, a student wanted to ask, will the dorm rooms be sanitized?
Of course. Right now, we've ordered plenty of PPE equipment, which is sanitation equipment, from disposable masks to hundreds of gallons of sanitation liquid, which is basically your Lysol or disinfectant spray. There are hand dispensers, sanitizing dispensers, social distance signage in all of our buildings to include the academic buildings as well as our residential buildings, which are our residential halls. Actually, we're doing one last sanitation run through on Sunday. So yes, all rooms have been sanitized and cleaned and will be awaiting your arrival. And also throughout the week, starting on the first week of school, we're having an initializing what is called sanitation days. And this is when all of our students, our on-campus students, get involved with sanitizing their rooms a minimum of twice a day. It's going to be with the SGA getting involved. I'm getting involved. The dorm directors are getting involved to make sure that we're our healthiest and ensure that COVID-19 does not come to our campus.
Thank you so much, Dean Stallworth. Dr. Agee, a student would like to know, how can we change our schedule at this time?
Okay, if they are a student is interested in changing their schedule, they can just call our main number 205-929-1000 and press 0 and ask for one of our advisors if they need to change their schedule. But it may not be the case depending on what the student needs. If they are or a student that wants to take their classes virtually and they have their schedule, they don't have to do anything. They can just let their instructors know that they want to take their classes both virtually. If a student wants to change a section of a class and they actually do need to speak to our advisors, they can call today. Our advisors are on standby right now as we speak, and they should be able to get their schedules changed should they need so.
Awesome. So can you give that number one more time for everyone?
Sure. It's 205-929-1000. Press, and then they do option 0. Press 0.
All right. Thank you, guys. Dr. Agee, for you, during Jumpstart, if a student did freshman orientation during Jumpstart, will we have to attend campus orientation? Or I think Mr. Johnson or Dr. Agee.
Okay. All right. I'll defer that to Mr. Johnson.
Yeah. So yes,
Yes.
if you've attended the Jumpstart orientation for Jumpstart, we're so excited that you participated in the program, and further, we're so excited that you decided to continue your education at Miles College.
Right.
However, this is an opportunity to really get to know your classmates and learn about the some of the campus spirit and culture. And so we are asking that you will also attend the on-campus orientation as well.
That's right. And Ashley, can I add to that? When it comes to the freshmen, we actually can't get enough of the class of 2024. And we know that these are unprecedented times, like the president said. So actually, more contact, more communication, more figuring this out together is important for us. And for our freshmen, we're going to take extra special care for the parents that are online that are listening to this, that they have everything that they need to succeed, not only this semester, but for the entire time that they're here at Miles College. So everything that we've set up for the freshmen is for their success in mind.
Okay, thank you so much. And this is for our panel. I believe it is Dean Stallworth. How will cafeteria food be served?
Okay, great question. Our cafeteria, of course, has been reduced with the capacity by 75%. So, of course, our returning students knew that it could sit around a little more than 400 students. So it's been reduced only to 96. So you have 2 options and technically 3 options for your dining. The Bear Cave, which is a smaller restaurant-like snack area of the French Center, of the Activity Center, it will be used only as a carry-out option. So students will come in one area, their food will be fixed for them in a to-go plate, and then they can exit out that same door on the adjacent side. And they can have their lunch or their dinner or breakfast in the comfort of their dormitory or outside, which is an option 2. There will be plenty of seating outside. We've ordered picnic tables as well as more metal tables for students to converse and socialize outside. However, if a student wants to do the traditional eating inside, they will be allowed to. The tables are at a social distancing, only 2 to a table, and they are 6 feet apart. So there's only 96 persons at any one time in the cafeteria.
Thank you so much, Mr. Stallworth. We also had a question about chapel, in person, or can we do it virtually for chapel?
I'll take that one.
Yes, thank you.
One thing that I was really excited about this past spring is that when we went to a virtual campus, that every single week we had activities, and they were community forums. So as many of you know, we do have a chapel on campus, but the community forums are the programming that comes out of that office. It's a requirement for freshmen, and it's suggested for all of our students. And I tell you, it'll be a format much like what we have today. And some of the sessions that we had Mayor Arrington speaking, Dean Stallworth and I. You had different pastors and musicians that came on. So it's not something you want to miss. And it will be also held virtually, where you will be able to experience those through a format just like this.
Thank you so much. Dean Stallworth, a parent just logged in and they wanted to know, what are the details about the move-in process? Can you talk about the move-in process just a little more in depth of what that will look like?
Oh, yes, most definitely with the move-in process. With receiving, of course, the results of COVID-19 testing, the moving results are, procedure are just really easy. Whatever their assignment is, as Mr. Johnson has already mentioned, our students who are cleared of everything will receive their housing key, as well as receive their photo for their student identity card, their M card rather. Once they get to their prospective dormitory, there are move-in bins or crates that can be utilized to go up and down the elevators or to get to the particular stairs. We will also have student leaders assigned to each dormitory to assist our students, especially our young ladies, with being moved into their residence halls. You will have the entire time as Mr. Johnson has acclimated. So if you get here at 10 o'clock and you finish, don't feel like you're rushed to move in. You do have, once you're cleared with the registration process, then your move-in is at your leisure once you get here. And if you need any assistance, our student leaders will be here to assist you. But it will be a more so a traditional move-in of the student moving themselves in because of our COVID-19 guidelines.
Thank you so much, Dean Stallworth. So we are getting an overwhelming amount of questions about COVID testing, COVID, everything. So I'm going to answer and throw these questions out there. Our panelists can answer. Provost AG, I know you have a lot of insight on what that process will look like. But the first question, will we be required to wear masks on campus?
I'll take that one. The answer to that is yes, we will be required to wear masks on campus. And required is the right word. We're required to do it. It's part of the guidelines here in our state all the way through the month of August. It's also the recommended guidelines from the Jefferson County Department of Health, which is where we reside, Jefferson County. But we also know that wearing a mask for both the person that's wearing it and the person that they're talking to can reduce the opportunity of transmission by a great amount. So we know that we want to do it. We want to actually build a culture, not just around what you got to do or required to do, but what should we do as one Bear family that's concerned about the health of everyone here on this campus. So we'll be wearing our masks, we'll be wearing them enthusiastically, not because we're required to do it, but because we care about each one's another's safety. So masks will be provided for students, and we also will be encouraging them to bring their masks and match their outfits and switch their masks out, and we'll be doing that throughout the semester.
Yes, thank you so much. So if a student took a COVID test at home and it was negative, do they have to take another test when they get to campus? Panel?
I'll take that one. Yes. So the idea is that, again, we want to do everything that we can to protect you, protect the community, protect your faculty, our staff. And so I'll give you a little bit of insight that the faculty and staff are also required to get tested prior to your arrival. And we spent the week making sure that they've complied with that. And so when you arrive to campus with your test, you're going to be required as well to get tested again, and information will be sent out about that process this weekend, just so you understand exactly what that process is before your arrival. If you have questions about that process, feel free to call 205-929-1656, and we'd be happy to walk you through that process and answer any questions you might have.
Okay. What are the procedures if, unfortunately, a student becomes sick and they are taking classes and they're on campus in the dorms? What are the procedures if a student get COVID-19?
Mhm.
Well, I'll take the first part of that question. We do have quarantine rooms or isolation rooms that have been set aside in each dormitory or residence hall. So that particular student, in reference, and of course, Dr. Agee and Mr. Johnson will answer the academic part and further inquiries to that. But there will be an isolation room with their own restroom, so they'll have their own bathroom to use, and food, of course, will be provided by RAs, will deliver that food to that student to ensure that they're quarantined until their symptoms are completely confirmed. At that point, if the symptoms are, of course, negative, they will then result and go back to their normal residence halls. Our healthcare provider, doctor, will be on campus to assist them if there is anything other than a negative result, to make sure that we take the other protocols after that.
Thank you so much. Does any of the other panelists like to add to that?
Yes, I would. And if there's a student who's not able to attend their classes because of any kind of sickness or concern for their family members, their classes will always be open. And they will have the option to do their classes virtually. So there'll never be a concern about missing any schoolwork if they need to go ahead and go to virtual classes at any time. And they need to do that. We'll make sure that that option is available for them, and our teachers will be flexible and understanding.
I want to add one point to that. So one of the items that I think it's really good about how we're setting this up is that there will be options at any given moment in time, and we wanted to make sure under Dr. Agee's leadership that that flexibility will continue throughout the semester. But what it requires is for a consistent amount of communication. And so, what that will look like is, if there's a point in time in which you're in the middle of the semester and you feel that it's best for you to move to a model where you need to go home to take classes, communicate that with your instructor, and we're going to make sure that everything that we do on our end positions you for success while you're here.
Thank you so much. Dean Stallworth, a student would like to know that if they are at risk, can they request a single room?
Yes, you can have a single room. To let you know right now, with the availability, Snorton Hall, for instance, is already on. We took the liberty of only doing 2 students to a room because the rooms are large. So we used to have 3 capacity. We're not doing that, only 2 students per capacity. But if a student wanted to have a single room, they can request that. There would just be an additional charge for that request. However, it would be a little more difficult in Snorton Hall as well as Bass Hall, since those capacities are right at 100%. But Stewart Reddick Hall, Murchison Hall, and Pitts Hall do have that capacity for a single room request.
Thank you so much. Dr. Agee, this one is for you. As a military veteran, will Miles College be awarding credits based on a veteran's military experience, according to the Joint Service Transcript?
We actually are working on several initiatives that will be advantageous to veterans. We're going to be having veteran services in the fall. And yes, we will evaluate each transcript from veterans to see what credits will transfer. So we will be working on that. And we are up to date with the different veterans programs that we need to be eligible for in order to provide veteran services. But our academic records office can go over all those options with our veterans. And we want to make sure that we provide as much support as we can to our veterans, including with their transcript evaluations. We want them to be able to get to and through Miles College without any difficulty.
Thank you so much, Dr. Agee. Dean Stallworth, a parent has asked, or I'm sorry, a student has asked, has the marching band been shut down for the year? What about the football team as well?
Okay, to answer that question, of course, all fall sports, to include football, the first part of the season of basketball, as well as volleyball, have been suspended in regulation, of course, with the NCAA regulations and our conference, which is the SIAC. In reference to marching band, a plan has been developed to have what is going to be called an A, B, and C band. So no, the band, our Purple Marching Machine, is quite large. You will not be practicing at the same time due to how extensively large our band is. So there would be an A band, a B band, and a C band to make sure that we stay in the social distance parameters. And then once you do have a full band, we have our football field where we could easily space you out at 6 foot distance, but you will be practicing outside.
That's right.
Thank you, Dean Stallworth.
We love it.
I want to add one point. I want to add one point to that. I think sometimes we think about, when you're talking about your experience at Miles College, I want you to know that these folks here have done an outstanding job of ensuring that your experience isn't going to be compromised by COVID-19. We understand that it's going to look very, very different, but we're going to do everything that we can to ensure that your experience is still fruitful and that you're going to enjoy your semester. And so, I think that that's a really good question, and we're excited to see what that's going to look like once you arrive in a few, I guess, next week.
Yes. Someone would like to know. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Agee. Would you like to add to that?
No, just saying we love the band, we love football, and we do know that these are big parts of our academic experience. And so I'm excited about the opportunity of us getting there together. And I'm over the moon, proud of the work that Professor Snipes, our band director, is doing, and Coach Reginald Ruffin, our award-winning football coach and now football coach Hall of Famer, football Hall of Famer, has done. To be flexible and to work out things in the best interests of all of our students. And so, I couldn't be prouder to be part of this team.
Good job. Thank you. Someone would like to know, will there be hand sanitizer stations set up at random locations on campus?
They already are.
Yes.
There's hand sanitizer everywhere you go. And there's also bear tracks to let you know how to stand 6 feet away from each other. We're going to have those bear tracks also. If you're going to meet with your advisor, you know where to stand so you're both safe distance away from each other. But there's hand sanitizer stations in all the buildings on the walls. But then also when you go into people's different office spaces, I just moved mine for this video. There's hand sanitizers all throughout campus.
Thank you so much. And I just want to make a quick note that we have Courtney Sankey, who is the Director of New Student Programs and Scholarships, who's right down in the chat box. So I know that she has been conversing with many of you. She put her email address up there as well. Once we wrap up, I'm going to have each panelist give their email addresses to their different departments, so you can ask even more questions. We will be back at 6 o'clock this evening, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we will be doing this again. And I'm going to ask a couple more questions to our panelists, or if you guys have any questions that you thought of that you want to convey to the audience, you can do so at this time as well. No? All right. Dr. Agee.
I'll go first.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Oh, no. I submit to Dr. Agee. Please go first.
No, I wasn't. You go ahead, and then I'll say something after. But go ahead. Well, while he's thinking on it, or frozen for a second,
yes.
We are. I do want our students and our parents to know that we have your best interest in mind. And first and foremost, coming from academic affairs, we want you to have a stellar academic experience. And so this is not something that's just happening to Miles, not just something that's happening in the state of Alabama. This is happening to the world. And look at how flexible and strong and brilliant and smart and creative we are to be able to have a semester and grow and be able to have even maybe the best semester. This is what I want for our students that are listening. I want you to have the best semester that you ever had. This is your 4.0 semester, I'm telling you. Everything is built in, is set up for you to make it. That's what we've done. That's what the faculty have been talking about all this summer since we've last seen you. This is the summer. This is your straight A summer. This is your straight A semester at Miles College. And we're going to do everything we can to support you and to get you there.
Thank you so much, Provost.
Okay.
Mr. Johnson, a student would like to know, is there a dress code for new student orientation?
Good question. I want you to be comfortable because you're going to do a lot of running across campus and you're going to be moving into your residence halls. And so dress comfortably and we'll get you plenty of Miles College clothing and mask and a whole bunch of other things. And so when you arrive, so dress comfortably.
Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. Dean Stallworth, are all freshmen, do they have to go to the Vesper ceremony when school starts?
Yes, all freshmen will be required to go and participate in our Vesper service. It was tentatively scheduled for August 9th, but we will postpone it to make sure that we have all of our freshmen, all of class of 2024, because I'm sure the provost, Mr. Johnson, our vice president, you, Mrs. Sutton, our president, of course, President Bobby Knight, we want to make sure that we don't miss one single freshman with this very special ceremony. So we want to make sure that everyone is here. So it will be postponed, but yes, it will be required.
Thank you so much, Dean Stallworth. Provost AG, a student would like to know, how will we let the school know if we want to do only online classes?
Hey, it looks like Caitlin Bruce, how are you doing? If you're interested in taking your regular classes in a virtual format, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to switch to our totally online program, which now has a bachelor's of administration in business. I mean, bachelor's of in business. If you want to do totally online, you can switch to that. But we are, if you want to take virtual classes, you can just let your faculty know. However, we have a team of people that are calling. They're my communications team. I call them Ask the Bear. They are calling you right now. And if you see a 929 number, answer it, please. They're asking you if you will be on campus. And if you're not going to be on campus and you need additional assistance, we are working with students who have special needs that help them to bridge that digital divide to be able to attend school. Please answer that phone and let them know what you need. And it'll be our honor to serve you and to take care of you so that you can be at home and take your online classes. And so for Caitlin, if you want to, you can call my staff. They're standby now, 205-929-1000, press 0, they will answer. And you can tell them what you're looking to do for the semester. But every student that is coming, that has pre-registered, it should be getting a call from one of my staff. They've been calling over the last few days.
Thank you so much, Dr. AG. Mr. Johnson, a student would like to know, will scholarships be affected by the move to online learning?
Oh, that's a good question.
It is.
That's a really, really good question. And no, your scholarship will not be affected by the decision to move to online learning. If you are a new student, your scholarship has been awarded and is packaged, and you should have received by now an award letter that has all of your financial aid in addition to the scholarship on that award letter. If you have not received that information yet, please contact our financial aid office or contact my office at 205-929-1656, and we can work with you to get that information. Continuing students, your scholarships again have been packaged and are indicated on your award letter. And so if you have any questions about that, please let us know. If you have not, if you're a continuing student who have been awarded a scholarship, it's important that you file your financial aid prior to your return to campus. That is so important. Otherwise, you're going to have to be running around campus and getting more information about your financial aid. So try to do that before you arrive. And if you have any questions, please call us and let us know.
Okay. I have an athletics question. I'm going to throw this out to the panel. Due to no football, how will scholarships and NCAA eligibility be handled? Is that something we can answer, or I can give the email?
That's a really good question. What we're encouraging our student athletes to do is to talk with their coach or to the athletic director about that. He's answering those questions on an individual basis. And so there is no widespread answer to that. We want you to talk with your coach and get guidance on that information.
Okay. And for this session, this will be the last question that I have. Again,
Mr. Sutton, 1 second. For our new students, if you applied and you submitted a transcript, to the college and your GPA has gone up since you initially submitted that transcript, please contact the admissions office or your admissions recruiter, because we do still have scholarship opportunities available. So contact that office at 205-929-1656, and they'll be able to help you with that information. We do still have scholarships available.
For new students, first time attendees, or college transfers.
Awesome. Is there anything else our panelists would like to add for this session? If we did not answer your question, we will have a session at 6 p.m. This video will be saved on the Miles College Facebook page as well as at Miles on YouTube. But again, if we did not answer your question, I'm going to allow each panelist to give their closing remarks and to leave their contact information for all of the various departments that we have represented today. And I just want to say for our panelists, this is an all-star team. They have worked endlessly to make sure that this transition led by President Bobby Knight is something that we hold very dear to our heart, to make sure that our students stay safe in this process. Remember that safety is our highest priority for both our faculty, staff, students, and parents to feel comfortable with sending their loved ones to this college. So we will allow each panelist to give closing remarks, also to give contact information for your various departments, and we will see you back at 6 o'clock. And if you want to start sending your questions now, go to @MilesCollege on Twitter. But we can start with you, Dean Stallworth.
Thank you, Ms. Sutton. I would just like to tell our students, make sure that when you arrive here, stay diligent and stay safe. And most importantly, we're going to have fun, student affairs, of course, with my number 205-929-1156. And that's cstallworth@miles.edu. And you can also email me at deanofstudents@miles.edu. If you have any pertinent housing questions, our director of housing, her number, area code 205-929-1455. Just make sure that when you get here, get ready to, like I said, stay diligent, have fun, be safe, and get ready to have an awesome academic year.
Thank you, Dean Stallworth. Mr. Johnson?
Absolutely. So I just want to make sure that I impress upon you the importance that we don't take your health lightly. We don't take your attendance and your decision to either continue your education at Miles College or to attend for the first time. And everything has been done with an immense amount of detail and consideration to your safety and the safety of our community. I also want to know that students, as they're coming in, that we've done a really good job of giving you the proper PPE, and we've got tons of it. So students, as you arrive, you're going to be getting face masks, you're going to get hand sanitizer, you're going to get your individual thermometers in the event that you need to, you're feeling ill and you need to keep track of your temperature. And there'll be more information coming about those things. Hand sanitizer stations have been placed around campus. Mr. Stallworth and his housing team has done a really good job of ensuring that the rooms are sanitized. Classrooms everything is happening, and it's done with a great level of detail. And so if there are any questions about this process or questions about, move-in or orientation, financial aid, scholarships, any of those things, your enrollment at the college, feel free to give my office a call and we'd be happy to work through that with you. And we'll see you next week.
Okay, so your information is right down there. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Provost Agee.
So we are excited to see students. We're looking forward to seeing you and being your partners in your academic achievement. One thing that is so important that you can do, if you can do anything right now as you prepare to either come back to campus in person or virtually, is check your email. We're using our Miles College email. Imagine that's your bank account. That you have several bank accounts, but that's your main bank account. And that the most important information is in that email. If you have any trouble getting in touch with getting onto your email system, then you can call up to the campus so that we can get your password reset. But the best number to call from our office is 205-929-1000. Press 0. That is my staff. Provost at miles.edu. We always answer. And it's very important to check your email. If you go back and check your email, you should have gotten email information about testing, though it's very important for us to be able to stay in touch with you. So check your email, answer your phone, reach out to us with questions, and let's stay connected on information. Things are changing, ever changing, and so we want to make sure that as soon as we know it, you know it too.
Thank you so much to our panelists. We are excited to welcome you back for the fall 2020 academic year. Please join us this evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you know someone who have questions or they're, a little confused about the process, please tell them to join us live at Miles. And we also are live on YouTube, as well as you can start sending your questions on Twitter at Miles. And we will see you at 6 p.m. and come back. If you have more questions that you need to get clarity on, please come back and we will see you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.